So we're going to look at some examples where we're using the literal equation for distance, time, and speed. So before we start this particular lesson goes along with two parts for your homework. One part, you are not permitted to use the calculator. The part that you are permitted to use the calculator has the word applications in its name. So if you are looking on Canvas for what is due, it says Alex homework number 3 applications. That's the part where you are permitted to use the calculator. These problems will not show up on an exam, but they are good to be exposed to, okay? Now the second part to the homework 3, and then it tells you what it's about. You may not use a calculator for these. So that is throughout the course. You'll see homework assignments that have the exact word applications in the name. Okay, those particular questions, you are permitted to use a calculator for those questions. Otherwise, no calculator. So with that said, back to the second part of this lesson, these examples, you are permitted to use a calculator for these questions. So we have here, what is the equation using words for speed? We have speed is equal to distance divided by time. All right, so we can do better than this. Instead of using the whole word, we can just use variables. Now, oftentimes S can be confusing for speed, so we'll use the variable R for rate. Rate can also refer to a speed equal to D over T. All right, there's our formula. So if we're given the example, Charmaine is going for a walk. She takes 3 hours to walk 7.5 miles. What is her speed? So we know 3 hours, that is time. And 7.5 miles, that is Charmaine's distance. So we're asked to find the speed, which is R. So if R is equal to D over T, then if we substitute for D, we put in 7.5 miles. I'll use MI to abbreviate. And then over 3 hours. So if you divide that, 7.5 divided by 3, there we go, 7.5 divided by 3, we get 2.5. Miles over hours. That's one way you could write it. You can also write it as 2.5 miles per hour. MPH stands for miles per hour. And that's a common way to abbreviate miles divided by hours or miles per hour. Okay. So let's go back to our literal equation, R equals D over T. This last part of this example says solve for D. Now, we have an equation, it has a fraction in it. That's it. So you just want to think about, well, clear the fraction. How would you clear the fraction? Multiply both sides by the denominator, which is T. So on the right side, we multiply by T. On the left side, we multiply by T. So the T's reduce on the right, And we're left with T times R equals D. Or you can also write this as R times T equals D. Both are acceptable.